Foss took minutes. He had little interest in it. He didn't know what was important to those who spoke, and he disliked his own handwriting, which looked like the work of a boy. He kept his eyes open for the moments when a change would come over the room. The usual business would give way to a surge of interest, and they would sit up and lean in, and their faces would become younger, more animated. At those times he drew a corresponding expression in the margin of the exercise book. Later, it would be his job to shrink his notes into bullet points of order, and his uncle would check it through before filing them in his study. Meeting began. Foss drew a smiling face. They always started with smiles. They talked of trade, and the smiles were put away. The request box for the village was full to overflowing again, his uncle began. Was the larger box on the way? That was one approach to needs and wants, Foss thought. To make a bigger space to store them all, rather than try to diminish the pile. But it seemed that the requests would always grow to fit the space, even if a box the size of a building was fitted on the green, with a slot wide enough for everyone to post their bodies through. Why waste time with slips of paper, when everyone wanted everything? Mrs. Tildy promised to raise the issue with Mr. Samuels, who had told her last month that he was making a bigger request box when he had time. He drew 2 dots for eyes, and a straight line of a mouth in the margin. Mrs. Satterley opened her crocheted bag and emptied the pile of request slips in the centre of the table next to the sandwiches. The group began to sort them. It was not Foss's job to list all the things written there. He only had to record any actionable events for the council, so he wrote, "Requests sorted and discussed," as he usually did at this point, and turned his thoughts fully inwards, to find the people at Valley Farm waiting there for him. A man and 2 women, standing together. The women hadn't looked similar, but they had stood together as if they were family, on either side of the man. They began to exert fear and fascination over him, easily, both feelings sprouting smoothly from the circumstance of the meeting. His nakedness from the waist down, his vulnerability, and the axe in his hands. They must have watched him, his regular patterns and private compulsions. And the farm had been his place. Now it belonged to them. He had rolled over and accepted it, the takeover completed with one statement. In his thoughts, he retrieved the axe from the wall of the barn and sank it deep into the man's neck, where it made the sweet, full sound of splintering wood. He found, in this fantasy, that he did not bear the man any ill will, but it would be necessary to kill him in order to make himself a serious object in their shared eyes. His land. His place. His marks on the barn and the tree and the body of the man. His uncle was speaking of a request for more sanitary products to be stocked in market, his cheeks taking on colour, the others nodding with their eyes elsewhere. Also more baby food, his uncle said. And we should prioritise this, or possibly arrange more support for the girls in school to learn about feeding infants from the foods we can grow ourselves, natural alternatives. Foss's attention fixed on the phrase. He wanted to know about alternatives, wherever they existed, to everything. To life. He wrote, "Natural alternatives discussed." He drew 3 circles in the margin, 2 open eyes and an open mouth of wonder. But what of the man at the farm? Imagine being a traveller, a conqueror, to simply turn up on soil and stamp it as property.